Goedemorgen. Het papier al
ja, super.
geregeld?
Ja.
Van een laptop heeft u
Oh, die direct wel van die...
Ja, oké. Misschien koffie?
Ja, koffie. Gewoon zwart.
Zwart?
Ja.
Hey, goedemorgen.
Goedemorgen.
Good morning. Good morning. Alles zit er.
Ik heb hier natuurlijk geen stroom, hè?
Minuutje.
Yeah, take it when I need it. I think I won't need it for now. Hopefully nobody sits on it. I think I did this part, so I can move it to screen.
We hebben woensdag altijd praktische zaken, toch? En dan dinsdag en donderdag theorie.
Ja, volgens mij wel.
Ik vraag me af hoeveel hoofdlezers we achter elkaar hebben, als we van 10 tot 5 les hebben.
Ik had gehoord dat de colleges 4 uur. Zoiets. Maar ja, volgens mij is het gewoon iedere dag net zoiets als dinsdag.
Zo.
Nou, ik had dat bij de vorige studie ook 4 uur zoiets. Kun je een klein geld in die koffiemachine gooien? Of alleen met je pasje?
Volgens mij pasje.
Eens kijken.
Ik heb een pasje, maar ik heb geen tegoed erop.
Ja, ik ook nog niet.
Ik heb die van Albert Heijn gekocht, want ik wist dat je helemaal via een pasje kan betalen.
Ja, ik kan even kijken.
Oh.
Alleen met een pasje.
Ja, hè? Niet zo. How are you?
Good, good. A bit tired.
Hi.
Morning.
Hey. You already getting to know the better side of the city.
Yeah, I really like it. I try to explore every day something new, even if it's a small place.
This small, what do you call it in English? Search for all the sites and all the little things you know.
Yeah.
How to be a Bredana.
Yeah, knowing new people.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
a bit of a stressful day yesterday. Tuesday actually. It's the dog of my girlfriend get put down. Because it's a very old dog. It was sick and didn't want to get out, so it had to be put down. A little bit sad in the evening. Then a best friend of me from Hamburg also, his father had a heart attack.
Oh.
So he's in the hospital now and artificial coma. It's a little bit,
Yeah,
a bit shocked,
stressing,
stressing these days. Didn't sleep that well
He's
last
so young.
night.
He's so young for that kind of.
No, not my friend, but the father of it.
Oh, sorry.
His father. So yeah, he's not that old either. He's 54, so
It's not so well.
it's not so old. So he's stable and he's a little bit conscious, so he can react, but still don't know much else.
Oh.
Stressful time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm trying to understand
You know how this college is called?
Sorry?
You know how this college is called? So the title.
For today?
Yeah.
I think I saw.
I have to print this schedule for the coming weeks. Otherwise,
Okay. Somewhere, maybe.
I only saw it all these colors: yellow, green, and red and slots.
You just want to see the first one?
Yeah. Today.
Thursday.
Oh, it's not for that.
Oh,
Yeah, I can. It's small.
here.
What a strategy. From that. Thank you.
I was looking for all the documents here yesterday.
I was looking for these OD cases we had to do in 2 weeks, but I only saw 4 online. I saw a small list with a summary of all 10 cases, but
The extra.
only 4 were online, only 4 complete cases.
Yeah. Have you chosen one?
No, I didn't dive into it all too deep.
I think I'm going to work with Robert, the Indian guy,
Yeah?
and we are thinking about this.
Yeah, I saw that one as well. These are the 10 symbols, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Hi.
I didn't have time to read them all. But there was one about, I don't know, I should take my laptop for it. But we have some time this afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
It's going to be a long day. Maybe tomorrow.
I saw there's one was about banking. Thought that one was interesting. Morning.
Good morning.
Because I have this contact in Australia and works with Bank of Tokyo. So I thought maybe that's something for application company. Might be. So I thought banking was interesting.
Yeah.
To make the connection already.
We think to choose that one because it was Helper and it was in Nepal.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Nepal was interesting.
Oh, I have it. I will take it.
I was telling him to. I would like to choose one which is a different context and different topics than usual
Yeah.
work.
Sign it.
So they just started this one.
Yeah.
Normally I come 1 month late.
Yeah, because we have
Yeah, no problem.
No, we see something to change.
Yeah.
And we're trying to always try to. Sure. So you
Went to the action yesterday. I
I
had nothing in mind, so I thought you get all these. You can order it somewhere.
It's really good.
Otherwise, it's
And it's going to be like.
with the first chapter already all wingled.
And then we can take the main highway to Antwerpen. Might be
I
very.
visited once the business school. Management school.
Yes.
So of mine was previous
Nee, nog niet. We willen even kijken welke artikelen ik wil doen.
Ja, want ik heb ook
Ah,
een
nee,
Nee, ik heb nog niet alle artikelen gelezen. Ik zag er eentje van banking tussen staan, die was wel interessant.
Ja, alleen die mag. Daar moet je dus naar kijken, want ik had gemaild omdat daar een aantal dingen ontbreken.
Ja.
Maar je moet naar
Je
de
moet die summaries
PowerPoint
kijken.
presentatie kijken, dus staat er.
Ja, dan moet hij nu even door. Maar ik neem aan dat we na deze presentatie nog pauze hebben. Dat kan wel even.
Ja, dat is
Mooi.
You have a program together in Chinese universities.
Yes, yes. But I mean, I'm not aware of all of them. Yes.
But quite international.
Sure. So it depends on the time also in association to apply the economic China. We work together with Fuda. And also with
Hello.
that's the Tom.
chassé.
but also with UID.
En jij nog lekker van je broodnoten?
Nee, ja, ik heb alleen maar dingen gekocht de hele dag.
Serieus?
Ja, echt overal geweest. Xenos-blokker, Access.
Praxis
Ikea.
voor een wat is het, zo'n stalen
Trek,
ding?
ja.
Yes, but that's for executives.
Laten snijden, daar.
That's
Maar nu heb ik wel gewoon een dikke home office.
Ja, het ziet er wel heel vet uit.
Ja, cool hè?
Heeft hij dat zelf gemaakt en zo?
Ja, maar hij maakt meubels. Hij heeft zijn eigen bedrijf, dus op zich, ja. Daar heb ik weer geluk mee, zeg maar. Hè?
Ja, dat staat er nice uit. Maar ga je ook echt veel thuis werken dan?
Ja, ik denk het. Maar soms is het ook wel fijn om ergens anders te werken. Net zoals op de Siberiëslaan zat ik ook wel eens in de biep en zo.
Ja.
Soms heb je dan gewoon betere concentratie.
Ja, ik heb mezelf de afspraak gemaakt van werk doe ik overal behalve thuis.
Ja? Kan je niet concentreren thuis?
Nee, nou ik vind het belangrijk om persoonlijk en zakelijk gescheiden te houden.
Ja, dus als je thuis komt dat je gewoon echt home time hebt.
Ja, dat is
Ja.
Ik wil
ja.
Oh, hoe is het? Goed hoor. Ja? Ja, ook? Als je er al lang. Oh, nee. Zit hier ook? Nee.
Ja.
Ja, ik weet niet. Oh, je bent
Good morning!
Good, how are you?
Hier als vliegt of zo. Het is meer gewoon, het is ook gewoon iets voor je wil het werk gewoon.
Ja, het is echt voor mijn koffie. Ja, maar nu weet ik het niet meer. Hi!
Yeah, nice. So this is
This was for you.
you. Do you like to read? Are you an avid reader?
Hou je mee op? Ik heb niet wil gewoon letten.
Ja, maar is dat niet het kleine stukje dat in concentratie staat?
Dan de hele stonden vier.
Misschien een keer aan het vragen, maar dat is een goed idee. Jij daar wel eentje uitgezocht. Oké, dit lijkt me wel wat leuks.
Goed bezig, Carlijn. Ik zag het op Instagram. Je motiveert mij. Ik hoop prettig, hè? Ik zweer het.
Wat vind ik interessant, wat vind ik al wel interessant. Niet gewoon maar één.
Oh, wat cute.
Ik hou gewoon zo. Ja, de maandag wordt wel zo'n. Aan de andere kant, als je dat niet had, die vrijheid, dan moest dat zondag.
Ja, precies.
Dus dit is vast zondag gewoon heel de dag op de bank zitten.
Het voelt ook al alsof het wel een soort van weekend is, hè? Hebben jullie dat niet?
Nou, één dag.
Ja,
om nou erin te zitten.
ja.
Kom prepared.
Ja.
Zo van elkaar.
Ja.
Ja.
Lunchbox.
Wat ging ik nou pakken? Ik weet niet eens meer. Weet je, altijd zijn we laatst steeds.
No, the last time they said that it was just that time,
Yeah.
and that the next time they would have solved it.
So this one is there.
Yeah, that should be the
Because Lida told me you
Who? Lida told me?
yeah, Lida told me.
Okay, well, the camera guy told me that it was just that time, and that I every once in a while just needed to press a button.
So I
wasn't
just need to
involved
press a
with
button, stop streaming, right? Okay. And I do so later. I will take my starfish.
Verstaan.
No, it doesn't matter. I just put my
Het zit er wel heel ver weg, heb ik het idee. Maar dit zit wel fijn in.
So then I will do a recording for today. Okay. Shall we start? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second day of the lecture. I hope you already enjoyed the first day and the Tuesday. How was it? A lot of information, right?
Yes.
Today will be even more exciting because in the morning, Professor Van Berg,
Yeah, very different. Cool. My name is
Koen from University of Antwerp Management School. He's a very experienced, famous professor in strategy, and he has been involved in our program from the very beginning, I think, for many years.
I'm part of the furniture.
So every year, we invite him to come here to teach us teach you give a lecture on strategy. So he's going to spend 3 hours from 10 to 1 o'clock with you. So what exciting is in the afternoon, I'm going to stay with you from 2 to 5. So it will be a very good day. Okay? So I will give all the professor. I will take it back and do the recording. Okay, thank you.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
I've indeed been involved, I think, since the beginning of this program. So that's, but normally I come 1 month later. So I'm now, this is your first week, yes. So you don't know each other very well for the moment. A little bit. So normally 1 month later, which, I mean, you're fully ingrained with the concept of Imagineering already, yes? And this is still starting probably. Yeah. So what is it? What is it basically for you, Imagineering? Tell me.
We're only supposed to get this question in a couple of weeks.
You have no idea what it is. You say, I'm going to do a master. So
We'll see
just
what
with your own
happens.
words. I mean, not academically. Just how would you describe it? How did you describe it to your parents? Yeah. Engineering they know, yes. Imagination they know, but then Imagineering.
I always say social innovation,
Okay.
and that makes it a bit more easy to grasp.
Okay, social innovation. What else?
Business innovation from the customer experience perspective.
Okay. Business innovation from a customer perspective.
Designing experiences, but in a very broad perspective.
Okay. And why is it important? Why is it needed?
Because society is changing really quickly and like companies cannot keep up, and I think this perspective is really important.
Okay. Okay. Let's try to. I know it's very early in your program, so we will. Let's try to tie it at the end to strategy as well. So my purpose, what I do today or this morning, is basically an introduction to strategy. Yes. Strategy is also a very big word, so I will come back to that. If you think about it, how you wanna discuss this. And so on strategy, and it's an introduction, of course. It's only 3 hours. What I try to do is not to overload it. Yes. That's one of the advantages if you come, let's say, as a guest professor. Yeah, so I don't have to see all the boring stuff. That's for the people that teach much more courses to you. So I keep it a little bit a bird's eye view, yes, and a perspective, and how we can relay that to Imagineering at the end. Okay. Now, before I just start with my talk, let's say, what are questions you have for today? What are questions you want to see answered at the end of 3 hours?
I want to have more in-depth idea of what actually is strategy. Because I asked the question, or discussed the question with a friend of mine who did his thesis in strategy, and still it was a bit difficult to actually get a good idea of what actually is strategy.
Very broad one. Yeah. What else?
How it's maybe linked to Imagineering.
Okay.
Maybe how you can see Imagineering as a strategy.
The link to practice.
Okay. Link to practice. These are, let's say, all very general questions. Nothing wrong with that, but try to dig in also a little bit more deep.
Maybe if it's need to keep your strategy, because sometimes your doing something and then you think, oh no, I can better do it like this or like this, but then you already decided your strategy.
So it's about change then, eh? How
Yes.
to change, when to change. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, when to change strategy.
How do you know if you've picked the right strategy?
I can put it a little bit more broad. What is a right? Yeah. Strategy. Other things. We can. I mean, I can. You can also think about following. Yeah. Not questions you might have, but if you look at companies, yes, what do you think are the challenges they have?
To get everyone on the same page and
Okay.
working towards that strategy.
All right, yeah, so that is ensuring a common view, yeah? Everyone on the same page. What else?
I'm also curious, like in Imagineering, it's really important that you empower employees. So to what extent do employees get involved when setting a strategy?
Yeah, empowerment, and then the question is, okay, how does this relate to strategy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh, sorry. And what you indicate basically are, you specify, which is interesting, you say how are they involved in the formation, yeah, of strategy, strategies. Yeah. Other challenges you see for companies?
Yeah, one more. I noticed that, okay, maybe it's been going on for a long time, but vision is really important for a company to succeed.
Yeah.
But usually when, for instance, they've done something to form a vision, then they've had it, and then everybody goes back to work, and the whole vision thing gets forgotten.
Yeah.
So how to make sure that actually everybody lives up to that vision?
Okay, that's what we say. Then we have the second part, basically, which is quite interesting. Yeah. Implementation. Yeah. All right. That's basically.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing. Welcome. You know, there is the gender balance is a little bit off here. Right? Yeah.
Just
Not in remarks because you make up, but it's interesting to see. Okay, formation. Yeah, so that once you have, whether it's a strategy or a vision or whatever, formulation is one, but then implementation. Yeah, how to make sure.
They have to be flexible without losing the goals or the focus.
Okay. Okay. So there is an issue of flexibility without, yeah, and if you are flexible, then the question is, yeah, without losing the goals, like you would call.
Yep.
So that's why should a company be flexible?
to adjust to the environment.
Yeah. So flexibility is often needed for the environment. Yeah. And more specifically, environment is so broad.
Trends and innovation are changing really fast.
Yeah. So there is innovation. Yeah. There are trends. Other things.
Also the well-being of the employees.
Okay, the internal. So the. And how does that relate to flexibility?
Well, when you think about the new ways of working, for example.
Okay, so that's basically kind of demographic social trait
Yeah.
that people want to have, for instance, a balance between work and life, and therefore they do that. Okay, other things or that's set here?
Maybe it's also interesting to talk about hierarchy, like how, because I think a lot of companies are still stuck in that hierarchy.
Okay. Yes. Definitely, I think an issue that could also pop up in other courses, lectures on that, but the hierarchy. Okay, and I think you say something very interesting. Yes, some companies are stuck. Yeah. In hierarchy. Is hierarchy something bad?
No.
No.
It's not really bad, but it can really slow down the process of getting things done.
Okay, it has some aspects. It might be slowing down. Yeah. The process of getting things done and moving, flexibility and so on. Yeah. But sometimes it's probably also needed. Yeah. So that's I have a view on that. Now we have something to work with, but let's just turn back to the first page. And I think we'll in one way or another cover everything or being able to give a little bit an answer to everything. But let's start with the first one. Yeah. What is for you strategy? How would you define it?
I think it's the pillars on which a company acts. It's the way of thinking and the way of handling.
Okay. Yeah, so you say, let me have a new one here. So basically you say two things. Huh? You say it's a foundation, yeah? And then you specify by saying it's the way you think, yeah? And the way you act.
Yeah. But isn't that a vision? Because there is a difference between vision and strategy, right?
I think when you have a vision, and the strategy is how you want to achieve your
Okay,
goal.
so then basically what you do is say you start from the vision.
Yeah, and then you create a strategy how you want to achieve
So,
that
but
vision.
how would you define then your strategy?
Isn't then that the strategy is the mission? If that is the case.
Mission. Yeah, mission. You see, this is a little bit the thing I wanna grasp also with you. It's a kind of what we call a semantic jungle. Yes, semantic jungle. But we should be careful not that we are not. I mean, it's like a swamp. You're talking all these concepts, so we have to drill it down a little bit to that you can order them. Let's focus again on strategy. Give me some input here. What is strategy for you? Yeah, so okay, we know it's different from vision and mission. We will come to that. How would you define it?
The way you do things to achieve your goal.
Yeah, so then the way you do things, and then you say something else. The goals. Yeah. Another problem. Yeah, goals. What are good goals for companies? What are goals? Or what are examples of goals? Sorry.
Increase in sales.
Okay, sales. What else?
More visitors.
More
visitors.
Customers. Visitors is probably already for theme park or
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. The Efteling is not so far. Sales.
That's where I work. So.
Customers increase. What else?
Efficiency of employees.
Yeah, efficiency.
Happier employees.
Happier, yeah. Employees, happy employees. What would be a goal? I mean, is Imagineering a goal, or what is it? Is it? Is it?
It's a philosophy. I guess.
It's philosophy, so it's more.
Think.
Yeah. Okay, happy employees. Okay. So we have, probably it starts off with a mission or a vision, we will come to that. You need a strategy, yeah? A way to act to reach certain goals, yes, that hopefully are aligned a little bit with what you are doing what you are doing. Now, you know what is very important, I think, and just thinking myself. When you study and you will have your in-depth discussions on that, Imagineering, yes? And if a company wants to apply that, the company never starts from scratch. Yes? There is an existing company, all right? And in most cases, like someone of you told me, companies might be stuck somewhere. Yes, and I think the Efteling is a nice example that are a little bit more evolved on the path of experience economy and so on. Yes, but my field of activity where I work with companies, most of the time these companies, yes, they have an existing way of doing business. Yes, it's neither good or bad, but it might be that they are not effective anymore, losing customers, employees that are going away. So what is very important when we speak about Imagineering, but also strategy, is that you first are able to take a good picture of what is happening and what the situation is of the company, yes, before moving on. And the reason that I say that, it's also that I've been involved, not recently, but I mean I've seen a lot of your master theses, or I was kind of jury member in them. And one of the frustrations that might happen also on your side is that you are totally engaged in the concept of Imagineering, yes, through the year. You work for your case company, yes, and you're really building, let's say, a good strategy based on Imagineering, yeah, for that company. But unfortunately, often what happens is that that company says, yes, that's nice, yes, but it's so far away, yeah. And I think this is where strategy comes in. If you want to build or revamp a company from an Imagineering philosophy or perspective, yes, you need to understand what the current challenges are. Yes? If you don't do that, you're pretty arrogant. Yeah? Because you offer them something, and it's like telling me, yes, well, you should go to the Olympic Games and you should be, yeah, as fast as Bolt, and look what you could do. But you know, I will never be able to reach that. Yes, even if I start practice now. So it's very important, and I think this is one of my main messages, is that you can embed your Imagineering philosophy in the current situation of a company. So understanding the current issues of a company is key. Yes. Otherwise, no change will happen. Okay? So, that's the first thing. And why is this? And that's in a very simple way. Because if you present to a company a perfect plan where they can start working on Imagineering philosophy, but it's detached from their current reality, nothing will happen. It's the same with you. Yes? If I show you something which is very interesting, but which has to do with things which are not related to your daily activity, you will say, this is nice, yes, let's keep on going now, do what we always do. We call this process, and I know that this will come, and it's a very important process, this is sense making. Yes? Okay? So for me, the link between Imagineering and strategy, it's the bridge of sense making. Yeah? If companies cannot make sense of all the beautiful things you will do, of the beautiful concept of Imagineering, which I think is very needed indeed, they will not change. You will have no impact. Yeah? You had a question.
Yeah, well, when you look at those current challenges and issues, how big should you think, and should you think in just complex or also in complicated issues?
Now you're playing with words. So what's the difference between complicated and complex issues?
Okay.
Yes? You're testing me, so you can explain yourself. Yeah?
Okay, now you're testing me. Complicated is something that you let's say to produce a car.
Yes.
It's once you've done had the challenge, you can repeat it over and over again. Whereas complex would be, for instance, raise a child. If you've done it successfully, you cannot copy paste the way you raised it onto another child.
Okay, I will come back to that. Now, since it's so important to start off from the current situation, I will give you one framework. We will build it, together, to understand a little bit what the issues are of companies, yes, and why change, even in an Imagineering factor way, are sometimes so difficult. So what I will do is I will use some colors. I did not foresee that to do that, but I think given the discussion, or the starting discussion we had, I can do it like this. All right, let's. This is an exercise I often do with companies. By the way, I didn't mention that. So my field of specialization, it's not in companies like the Efteling. I'm always busy in industrial companies, yes, B2B processes, very technical often. Yeah, this is a little bit the area I work in, and next to that, I come from Antwerp, and if you think about Antwerp, you think about
diamonds.
Diamonds, yes. So diamonds is my hobby, so I can afford to be teaching here. Yeah. So that enables that to do. So I'm the independent director of the Antwerp World Diamond Center, which is quite interesting, as diamonds are very interesting. Yeah. A lot of ladies here. Yeah. But it's a very interesting industry. Yes. And I think it could use some more Imagineering as well for other reasons. But this is a little bit my field in which I work. And by the way, Antwerp is a B2B center, yes. The retail center, so the rock on your fingers, that's more, that's not in Antwerp, so it's more the rough and the trading. So what I want to do is that, you have a little bit my background and my exams might be a little bit from that side. Let's assume something. Let's take a company, even the Efteling, or any company you want to focus on, yes. And in the previous thing we did here, yes, okay, we indicated that the goals could be more sales, yes, could be customers, efficiency, and so on. I will use a concept, and probably this will be worked out, so I cut a number of corners here. So normally when I work with executives, I ask, think about your sales, yes, of the last year, 2016, yes? And if you look at that sales and you equate that to 100, what you could do, very simple, is say, how can we divide that in, yes, how much of that sales, yeah, you really had an advantage over your competitors, yeah? So you were the market leader, yeah? Think about, for instance, Apple or whatever. They can sell things, tremendous prices. Yes, that's only because the products, for one reason or another, are better than the competitors. Yes, Efteling draws a lot of visitors, perhaps more than 6 Flags or what is it in Belgium. Yeah, they have a competitive advantage. Yeah. So, so I ask, okay, if you split this 100%, yes, okay, in 2 parts. One part is where you have a competitive advantage, yeah? Okay? And another part where you are on the market, but basically you have to fight for it, yes? All right? Work hard, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, yeah? You don't have if you don't, for me, most companies don't have a competitive advantage. It's a pretty competitive world out there, yeah? So if you read strategy books, it's all about competitive advantage, but most companies, they have a good business, yes, but the concept of competitive advantage is totally, over the top, yeah, okay? And of course, all the cases often deals with that. Now, let me give you 2 examples, and that's I think this is a kind of picture, if you look at your case company, which is interesting to take to understand what the issues are. let's assume that we take a company, a construction company, although probably you have no idea. I might be some experience here, but if we I take a construction company because they are in a very competitive environment. Yes, very, very competitive environment. If I make the split here, what we often see is that they have 1% of their work is here, yes, and 99% is here. Yeah. But this is probably more normal than the other way around. Yeah. Is this good or bad? Not so good, eh? Why is that not so good?
Well, you want to have a competitive advantage. Yeah, I don't know actually how to explain it, but it's quite simple.
Yeah. So you can imagine that life is tough. Yeah. You have to work hard. You have to give, pamper customers. Yes. You have to. It's a tough market. Yeah. Let's have another example. Let's take, but I'm not sure you know this company, but I use this example also because it's a Dutch company. Yes. It's the company ASML. You should, if you're Dutch, you should know this company. Who knows the company? What are they making?
I don't know what else.
Okay. This is for me the most high-tech company I know in the world. Yes? And I think I'm pretty close, which is really in a marketplace. Yes, you have of course at university research laboratories that are more technical, but they are subsidized. This company makes the machines, yes, Apple, Samsung, yes, Intel are using to make their chips. So all the innovations in computers and whatever, it's this company. Yes, it's a spin-off of Philips, and Philips you know, yes, but a long time ago. Yes, this is in Eindhoven, which is not so far from here. Basically, the whole economy of that part of the Netherlands and Belgium is just ASML. Yeah. It's tremendous. It's a very, when I do that exercise with them, they say basically they're very strict on themselves. They say, you could say they're a monopolist, by the way. There used to be one company, which was a competitor, which was Nikon. You know Nikon of the, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, because that's a technology, so they, yeah? But they went out of that business. So that's a monopoly, but still they say, we have 70% here, yes, and only 30% here. Yeah, because customers start or are always using too long the machines, they don't buy new ones, that's also competition. Okay? Now, why is this important? I think it's a bit different if you speak about Imagineering, and let's be honest, the more you advanced in your study of Imagineering and your case company and whatever what comes later, it will be also a lot about change processes. Yeah? How companies must change to embrace that. Now this is an important starting point. It's basically, are you more a construction company or more kind of ASML type of company? Yeah. It makes a huge difference. Yes? You see that, right? For me, this company is still in Disneyland or in Eftelingland. Yeah? It's fun to be there. But this is a starting point. It's very down to earth. Yeah? It's not something big words. It's just like, this is very important to know. If you're working for a company which has to fight for its market, yes, you will have a totally different challenge when you are working there for your case company. And they will have a totally different challenge in adopting, for instance, the concept of Imagineering. Yeah? It does not necessarily mean it's more difficult or more easy, but it's different. Yeah. Now, okay. This is for 2016. Let's assume we come back within 1 year. Yes? And both companies, they've just worked, did not do something fancy, just business as usual. Yes? And we would do the same exercise. What would happen with these percentages?
Maybe
change
drop.
Sorry?
Maybe drop the competitive advantage.
Yeah, so this is, okay, that's one of the elements you gave here. Yeah, it's, the world is changing, yes? So what we know is if companies just keep on doing their business as usual, and be mindful, most of the companies do that. Yes? They are not dramatically changing. Everything I write in blue, you get for free. The company doesn't have to do anything for you. Yeah? So we know that if I speak about strategy, this arrow is a fact of life. Yes? This is what you call trends, changes in the environment. Yes? What we discussed. All right? It brings basically down or makes your life tougher. Yeah? And that's a fact of life. You can say, I don't want to have that. Yeah, should you, go live somewhere where there is no issues with the environment? But I don't think there is. Yeah. So it's important to understand how this is pushing, of course. That's another course and whatever, but here we can just work with the fact that the percentage. How can we fight this blue arrow? How can we fight this? What can companies do?
Adjust your strategy and revise.
Okay, but that's a little bit too abstract. Give me more concrete, more tangible things. What could they do?
Have a trends and development team.
Yes, but that's internally. But what is the purpose of the trend and development team?
To keep up.
To keep up, yes.
To go in front of the changes.
Yeah.
To be the change yourself.
So basically, let me help you, but yeah, be the change, but that's very abstract. You must try. There's a little bit of danger in the beginning, is that you have all these big words like Imagineering, be the change yourself, yes, but what does it mean? Yeah? Very tangible. It means for a company that, for instance, it must build new products, yes, or new services, or get more efficient or whatever. In any case, what they want to do is, do something that will bring them here, yeah. And that's right what you say, but that's very general. Try to bring it down to earth, otherwise you keep in, we remain in the world of concepts, yes, and often it's very nice to bring it down to earth. So we need to fight back, yes?
I think it's crucial to listen to the people around them.
Yeah, so that would be a tactic to do, yes? That company, for instance, a construction company, should listen to the customers, see what's really happening, or employees, because often they know a lot, and But if we just work with what you are saying, which is really a good example, what is the problem of the company which is the 99%?
They're used to business as usual.
Yes, but that's also the case for the Disneyland guys.
Okay.
Just think about yourself. If you're somewhere where it's very pleasant to be, you don't have an incentive to change. Yeah? Okay? But what is the real problem of a company that is in a situation where it has to fight? And then you say, well, you should listen to customers, listen to employees, you should learn the market.
But I think they're just focused on revenue and not on...
Make it very tangible. What is the problem? They don't have the resources to do so. This is the reality of a lot of companies in which I come. Yes? Of course they know. Yes? Of course they know they have to listen to customers. But someone has to do that. Everyone is working hard. Yes? So it stops already. Yeah, they say, we know that, but we don't have any. It might be that, for instance, for ASML, you see, it would be more easy because they have much more. Yeah. So how can we solve this? Yeah. And the issue is, and I think that's very important, when we deal with strategy, it's not only about the market. When you deal with Imagineering, it's not only about building a nice social concept and do revamping and energizing people and it's not only about the market. This is the market dimension. Yes? Yes? And the market dimension, whether you want it or not, and this is also true, by the way, if you're a museum or a not-for-profit, perhaps you don't speak about competitive advantage, but it's about value creation. Yes? My experience is much more with for-profit companies, but you can extend that. Yes? The market dimension is being better, yes, or ensuring customers are satisfied, yes, or exceeding. But that's not enough. There is another dimension, and this makes it difficult. Yes? And this is the organizational dimension. Yeah?
So basically basically meso micro.
Yeah, that's how you call it a little bit. You can, yes, you can call it like that. Yes, but I make it much more tangible. You know, this is real. What is happening at companies. Of course, they don't draw this matrix, but this is to estimate a little bit what the issues are. I have a line here, yes, and then again I have something above the line and below the line, yes. Everything above the line I call is critical on the short term. You know what that means? If a big construction company, if they lose an important project, yes, or tender, they might go bust. They might go bankrupt. Yes? That's critical on the short term. It means you can go bankrupt. Yes? Okay? This is basically all the rest. You see that? All the rest. Now, so I extended it a little bit. How would you call this type of activities? Here, if you would give it a name.
Not urgent.
So not urgent. Is it important if it's here?
Could be.
Could be, yes. So something that's not urgent but probably and could be very important. How do we call this? Yeah, we might see this. Yeah, so things you do that within 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you will have a competitive advantage. Yeah, often we call this innovations, right? Yeah, new things you do. I use another word for this, and I think it's a very important word, and it ties down immediately to, for me, the concept of Imagineering as well for a lot of companies. This is the area of experiments you do. Yeah. Okay. Typically, if a company starts with an experiment, which might be, for instance, just sitting down with customers and talking, it might be even be R&D, can be technological related, but it can also just building a new ecosystem. It can be an experiment, yes, to bring in the philosophy of Imagineering, yes, social innovation. But it starts, most of the time, it starts with an experiment, yes. It never starts, I mean, perhaps in a startup, that's something else, yes. But for a startup strategy, I don't think it's so important, yeah. It starts basically with an experiment. Companies might have many, but this is already one check. Let's assume you will work, your case company is a company where you see, well, this area, there's nothing, yeah. This is a big challenge, yeah. Because you will be then the experiment and the company is not used to do that. Yeah? You see the challenge in it. Yeah? Okay. Now, so let's assume we are in the 99%. And we know we are under pressure because this is happening. Yes? Whatever industry, there is always things changing and life will not be as easy as it was. Whether this is social, whether this is employee related, it doesn't matter. So we know we don't have the money to fight it. So where do we start? We know we must do experiments, yes? But for experiments, think about that. Yes? This is the hard reality you don't find in textbook. You need money. Yes? And every CEO of a company knows that, but if there is no money, they will not do it. Yes? And it's a little bit the thing you have to take along with you is if you want to start Imagineering, you must first free up resources. How do you free up resources?
Increase sense of urgency.
Yes, but you know what happens? I see this a lot in companies. Then they say, yeah, you're working, you say you have to work harder. But you know, sometimes people are so stretched and they know the urgency. And they say, but it's impossible. I can perhaps work 5% harder, 10%, yes? But 10%, that's half a day, yeah? And a week. You will not keep up doing that, yeah? So we must free up resources. How do companies free up resources? Make it very tangible. If you think about that, what should they do?
I think something with accountability and setting goals to it.
Yeah, that's true, and I think it's important. But you know, it's an action that will have an effect much later on. Let's be honest. if you have to free up resources, you must do cost cutting. Yeah, you must be more efficient in what you are doing, and what you are saying might be an action to be more efficient. But it's very needed. It's not wrong. Yeah, and it means basically my framework. If a company wants to be more efficient, what should it do? Well, this is a green arrow, and the green arrow means green means you don't get it for free. Yes, managerial action is needed. Yeah. So if managers are not deciding on that, nothing happens in a company. What can this mean? For instance, there is in itself nothing wrong because this is a market. I mean, it's a market that you have 99% of your sales in a difficult. Yeah, you have to fight for it. But let's assume you have only 80% of your resources allocated to that. Yes, you make a lot of money. You understand it? Yeah. So often this you cannot change. I mean, it's given. But what you can change is say if we work smarter, more efficient. Yes. We only use 80% of our resources, and still, yeah, then you have money.
But isn't it that most of the time when companies ask for Imagineering perspective, that they have already tried like to be more efficient, to do cost cutting?
Sure. So this is the first step. This would be good. Yes, I think you're right. Yes, there is an awareness. So they have done already some cost cutting. So part of the activities they structured in another way. Example, yes, outsourcing. Yes, construction industry. You know, it's cheaper. Other companies more specialized to let them do. What happens, and that's exactly what you are saying. What happens is, look, you free up people, and you free up money. Yeah, and let's assume this is where you come in. But this would be a good situation. Huh? Mm-hmm. Not always the case. Huh? So it's very important. If the green arrow didn't happen yet, they will be thrilled by your story of Imagineering, yes, but you will see there is no one really taking care of you because they are so busy with the business as usual, yeah, that they don't do anything. Let's assume they free up money. So they, for instance, outsource part of their production or their activities. They're centralized. Often you have, I mean, instead of having 2 accounting departments in the south and the north of the Netherlands, they merge them together. You free up people, yes? What can we do with these people? Yeah, where should we put them? Yeah, so this is what you hope, of course. What is the problem here?
They're not trained.
They're not trained, yes.
There'll be soon the boss will fill that time up with other.
This is a danger. I will come to that. Just keep it because there's one thing missing on the. But this is a little bit the challenge. Yes. Yes. You are totally, or you will be totally in the logic of Imagineering, understanding it, feeling it, what it is. And the company has freed up people, but these people, I mean, suddenly they have to behave in a very different way. Yes. What I see in companies is that this is not possible often. This is a tremendous challenge. Yeah.
But are these people hired or are they already in the company?
If you free them up, yes. If you free them up, they are in the company.
Okay.
Yes. But this is the interesting part. Often it doesn't matter, even if they're hired here. Let's assume you have a company that is, especially a 99% company, and you hire people to do experiments. What will happen, do you think? And this happens at companies. Sure, you don't have this extensive experience. But then the people who have to work here, very hard, they say, what are those people doing? Nothing. They are just sitting around speaking to customers, but they're not productive. I work very hard, yes? And they are in Disneyland here, just... Yeah.
No support is created.
No support. So that's the reason also when you see, and you will see what comes further, perhaps, I mean, in how organizations work and what happens, is of course, there is a shift. I mean, from a student perspective, this seems logical, yes? But just assume that you have to work very hard, and someone of you in a group's work is just sitting somewhere, yeah? doing something you don't know, you will not accept it. Yeah? This is the reality of companies. So you need to know a little bit, yeah, what is happening. And sure, it's possible, but you see immediately how important leadership is, because leadership must, yeah, balance this.
But if you facilitate the group that you're going to experiment with, and you train those people how to keep, let's say, being leaders in Imagineering, you can say, for that company, and you also involve the other people and just kind of explain to them, like, look, this is the vision that the company wants to achieve, and you do involve them in certain activities, because if you're going to change the company completely, you also have to change the company's culture. So if you involve everyone together and make these ones that are now freed up leaders to continue once you're gone as a outsource person, isn't that?
Yes, but I tend to fully agree even on what you're saying. The only thing is, there is a huge difference between theory, what you are saying, and what happens in practice. Yes? And what I want to show with this is you need to appreciate sometimes the difficult position companies are in. Yes? Because in the nice sentence you just said, this will probably take 2 years for a company to change. Yeah? So it's perhaps right, but it's not easy. And one reason it's not easy is that I just need to draw 2 more things up. Let's assume, yes, you are a business manager of a construction company or an electricity providing company, doesn't matter. Yes, a company who is in the 99%. Yes, you're one of the business units. You carry 40% of the business, so you're important. Yeah. Let's assume that for one reason or another, this blue arrow starts pumping. Yes, new legislation, new competitors. Credit crunch, something you cannot do, prevent, yes? Suddenly no finance anymore, whatever. And you as a manager say, oops, I'm going to lose a very important customer. And because of that, probably we will go into the red figures. Yes, we will make a loss. It's dangerous. So you have your team, even consultants with you, and say, I have to go to my CEO and ask for more resources. Yeah? Will you get them? Well, there is a difference, of course, and this is what you need to appreciate. Of course, best practice tell, don't give them resources. Yes? But if you don't give resources, the companies just go bust. It's about survival. Yes? So what is visible, or what is in every company, yes, is something I will draw here. And again, this is something which in most cases will prevent Imagineering concepts to be implemented. So that's the reason you should be aware of it. Yes, and I just draw it here. My drawing skills are not that good, but can you see what it is? A magnet. Yeah. Yeah. I call this the resource magnet. And everything which is in red, so blue you get for free, green you need managerial action of choices of managers, otherwise nothing happens. Red is invisible. Yeah.
But you also get it for free.
You get it for free, but it's invisible. It's almost a central tendency, yes, to allocate resources in an area where you don't have competitive advantage. Especially, and you see, this resource will be bigger when you are more a 99% company. Yes. And I can assure you, most companies are much more towards the 99% than to the 30%. Yes. These companies have other issues. Yes, but life is more easy, especially in the short term. Let's be honest, money is just flowing in. Yeah. This resource magnet tends to allocate all the resources, yes, in an area where you don't have a competitive advantage. Yeah. This happens in all companies. What would be, a very tangible face of the resource magnet? It would, for instance, be management meetings, reporting you have to do, attention of top managers. Yeah? So even if you have freedom, and this happens, people, yes, when things go sour in the market, they are immediately drawn back to business as usual. So even if you have freed up people, you start with a concept and whatever. But I think, and I know it's very early in your study, but Imagineering concepts, they are pretty disruptive often, right? Now, disruption is something very dangerous, of course, yeah? Because, you know, it might be like new shoes, but you don't know whether they fit, yeah? So will you throw already your old shoes away? Yes? So companies need to balance this. And the key point is, I mean, you need to be aware, what are the issues of the companies? Otherwise you will be very arrogant or ignorant, yes? You say, you must do that, but I'm the CEO or whatever the team say, yeah, but I mean, how does this transform our business? How can we still make money? Yeah. Okay, so Imagineering is nice when companies start, but you have to know that the business as usual pays the bills. And there's only one reason a company go bust, if you cannot pay your bill. Yes? All right? So there is a short-term pressure not to change. Always. There's nothing wrong, it's a tendency. Look at yourself. Yes? Most of us are not that changing type of person. Perhaps this group is, yes, but on average, we don't change our behavior. Yeah? We think, there's a difference between what you think and what you do, of course. That's for companies the same. Yeah. Okay, there's one arrow missing here, just to take stock. Is it enough to have experience? Experiments here?
You also have to do something with those.
Yes, so they must basically graduate. What means graduate? There's an arrow going up. If you only have experiments here, yes, you are like IBM in the years, yes, 1990s, yes. These were the king of the patents, of the experiments, but they didn't do anything with it, yeah. So then you have a lot of new things, but you don't build a business with that.
In the 90s?
IBM in the 90s,
okay.
Yes. So they invented, for instance, the router technology, yes, which we use. Yeah, it comes out of the IBM labs. But Cisco, perhaps a company you less know, commercialized it. Yes, radio frequency identification. I think it's also used in the new buildings. I don't know here. Yes, which is basically a very handy tool just to read out everything. I mean, it comes out of the IBM labs. Walmart made money with it. Yeah. So a lot of inventions we know come from IBM, but they did not commercialize it. So this is a second big challenge. If you have an Imagineering concept, which most of the time starts here, yes, because a company will hire you as a kind of experiments, put some people together with you. Hopefully, you will work on that. But one of the, I think, most important tasks is ensuring that, yes, this can become part of the business as usual. Yeah. Again, this is green, meaning it does not go automatically. Yeah. And this is the very difficult. I think I call this process also scaling up. Yes. And I think I had some examples a long time ago in these master projects that the Imagineering concept worked on a small scale, yeah, with one customer. But you know, if you do that with one customer, you don't earn money with it, yes? It's nice. So you need scaling up, yeah, to ensure that, yeah, to ensure that the company can thrive and really change. Otherwise, it's just an experiment. Yeah.
Would you have to free up new people for the implementation?
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's the difficulty.
So does it often happen that there are people at the experiment part, but when it comes to implementation, they kind of don't know how to implement, or they still don't have the resources to do so?
Sure. This is very difficult. Yeah. This is very
Probably even harder than the experiment itself.
There you go. Yeah. So I think one of the things you should look at in another way, you will have tons of also examples probably in courses on that, is it's nice to have a very good experiment which might be very much related to Imagineering, but it must get embedded, yes, into the organization. And then you must change, yeah. So change management in itself is very important, yeah, because it's.
So in order to scale it up, what is the time frame you should think of? Is that like 6 months, 1 year?
Well, it depends probably on case to case, yes. And I might imagine if we take, for instance, the Efteling, yeah, who was working at it? Yeah. I mean, they've been busy with even the concept of Imagineering for a long time. This would be a different story, yes. But most of the time, it's for me at least 2 years. Yeah. If the company is a little bit sizable, at least. But this is longer. Yeah. I don't believe in quick wins when you speak about Imagineering. There might be a positive vibe and whatever, but it calls for transparency. For persistence in the effort. Most of the time, disruptive innovations, it's at least 2 years. Yeah, you need to do that.
Can you give a practical example of maybe something that you yourself did that was a difficult case but eventually worked out?
As we speak, I do now a lot of work for a company which is called DME. Yes. Now you might not know DME, but you know Boskalis, I think, in the Netherlands, in Van Noort. Yes. And Van Noort is basically, these are dredging companies. Yes. Now what dredging means? Yes, you, for instance, lower the seabed so that the Suez Canal. Yes, these are big companies. Now, let me use that example. It's a rather technical example. The nice thing about this example is Belgium and the Netherlands are the world leaders in this market. Yes, so we have 4 companies. These are the best in the world. Yes, just they have their ships everywhere doing dredging work and so on. To make it very simple, if you take DME, Boskalis, and so on. Yeah, Jan de Nul is also one of them, and then you have Van Noort. They used to be, and this is the interesting part, they used to be in a market which was Disneyland. Very simple. Yes? I was the owner of Suez Canal. It needed a deeper trench. Yes? I called this guy in. I said, this is urgent. Yes? Here is the contract. Here are the specifications. Do it. Yeah? But I tell you what you need to do. It needs to be 50 centimeters or whatever. Just do it. Yeah. It's a little bit when you build a house, but I'm an architect and I've put everything on a map. You're the builder. Build it. So what do you do is you start building based on the map. You don't have to think. Yes. If something's wrong on the map, on the specifications, you go back to the Suez Canal and say, I need more money because there is no sand. It's rock down there, so I need another cutter. I mean, yeah. So this was the Disneyland work for these companies for 150 years. Yes, very pleasant. Yeah, they made a lot of money because they were the best in the world. Why? Because the Netherlands, as you know, it's below sea level for a big part. Belgium has the same problem. So for one reason or another, we have big ports. I mean, there is organically it grew. We have just a bit. So we're very good at it. Tons of money. What happened? The blue arrow kicked in, and this happened over a period of 10, 15 years that it started. What was happening? Suez Canal was saying, yes, we take all the risk. Yes, and, you know, these guys, they know much better a little bit what they are doing. So instead of giving them a detailed contract, what are we going to do? We just give them the functional specifications. Yes, I will not give you a map to build a house. I will say, in that house, I want to be able to teach in a very good way. You figure out how to do that. You understand the difference? Okay? So these companies, instead of just working based on a plan, they have to create a lot of knowledge on, for instance, oh, we must make an artificial island before Qatar. So we must know a little bit also compaction, different technologies. It used to be other guys who just said, this is what we have to do. So their business model changed totally. Yes? Okay.
Is that also a bit linked to the development of from possession to use, from zit naar gebruik?
Yeah, but even that's even a step further. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is just, yeah, they had to change totally. They had to do a lot of experiments also to change how they worked. Yes. And as a consequence, and this is a process, it took even longer than 2 years to have the mindset, yes, the mindset that they need to do the job in another way. There were new competences they need, for instance, purchasing, whatever that's technical, but let me give you another example. In the old days, when the work was simple, quote unquote, and you're my project manager, I would say, you go off to Nigeria, do the dredging, yes, and only come back when it's finished. Don't bother me, yes? This was the mindset in the people. What happens now is that you get basically, you have to build something, but you need to interact with the employer, the contractor, yeah? You need to speak much more with people. You need perhaps the project director who is working at the same time in Suez Canal, his knowledge as well, because he did something. So people need to be totally different in their jobs. And this is a tremendous challenge, yes? So it takes a very long time, even if you know this is working, to bring that to how a company operates, yes? And this is an example which is purely driven by external changes, other type of contracts, yes? So it's even not touching about Imagineering, yeah? So I could say it's even, it's about making money and whatever, just the business model needs to change. And this is a process, it takes at least 2 years, yeah? And even now it's not fully complete. So this is a tremendous challenge for companies there, yeah? You see a little bit this, yeah? For me, strategy, yeah, is how you deal with this. That's a very practical. I know you will have later on much more sophisticated academic type of definitions. But if I speak about strategy, it's what is your plan as a company to deal with this situation? Yes, I call this the strategic business leadership position of a company. Yeah? And if you're a construction company, a 99% company, you're not in a very good position, yeah? It will be much harder to do anything you need to do. And for me, strategy is about how you seek to improve the situation or defend it or whatever. And eventually it's about goals, of course, yes? But the ultimate goal is, of course, that you can create value for your customer, I think. Not for yourself, perhaps. I think if you're good to your customer, if you're good to your employees, yeah, most of the time you will earn money yourself, yeah? Okay? And of course, and this is where probably vision comes in, and mission. I will now switch a little bit to that, yeah? What you will do as experiments, which types of experiments, yeah, I mean, you need a lot of vision for that, yes? To put it simple, for me, a mission is the reason, the purpose of the company. Why are you around, yeah? The vision is much more, for me, market-driven, in the sense of, how do you think the world will look, yes? Your environment will look within 2-3 years, yeah? And the strategy should relate to them, yeah? Because hopefully you will take action, and that will be aligned with your vision. Yeah? I mean, if you see, oh, yeah, building will change totally because of, yes, smart cities and whatever, you will do totally different things than when you say, well, the market will be the same, yeah? Okay, so it's driving a little bit the initiative in which we are. So this is basically a very practical way to look at strategy. Yes? But I mean, and that was my point. If you just start off in a company and you have no idea where they are located, I mean, what the issues are, yes, they will not change. Or you will propose things they should do, decoupled a little bit from all the practical shit they are having to deal with. Yeah, you will have no impact. And I guess, what you hope to have, at least if you work hard on your master project in your case company, that at least you have an impact. I think that's fun to have, right? Yeah. And if they say, well, this is a nice work, well, brilliant, and well, it goes into the drawer, yes, that's often, yeah, a reason that you did not take into account a little bit where they are. Yeah. Okay. Is this clear? Yeah. Sorry?
Kind of.
Kind of, yes. It's
Still a lot.
That's still a lot, and don't overdo it. So it's yeah, but it's just, you feel a little bit the dynamic. So what you have is often the blue arrow puts everything in motion, yes? So where we started up, we need to be flexible, but because the world is changing, well, the world is changing, but it changes the company, yeah? Okay? I want to take the issue of hierarchy. Who said that? You? Yes, hierarchy. Where is hierarchy important, you think?
In big companies.
Yeah, but if you look at the framework.
Take action.
Sorry?
To take action.
Well, to take action, you know, in this area, if you don't have a hierarchy, you go bust. Yeah? There is nothing wrong with that. Yeah? Because often this is business as usual. Of course, you see immediately if you use the same hierarchy here, it doesn't work. And that's the complexity, of course, in managing, especially big companies, is that they have to be able to write with their left hand and with their right hand equally well. And we see often that some companies are much better in right hand or left hand, yes, just as they are better in working in a hierarchy, clear, yeah. And some companies are just more creative, but you need both, yes. A lot of creative companies just go bust because sometimes you need hierarchy, yes. There's nothing wrong with it.
But if you look at, you know, Ricardo Sandler.
To car assembly.
No, Sandler.
I don't know.
He's the Brazilian.
Yeah, okay, sorry, yeah.
Oh, you know it?
Yeah.
Within that company, they actually stopped with kind of having a hierarchy, and it kind of flourished.
Kind of, yes. I mean, I'm always very skeptical. It might work, yes, but it depends a little bit on how and at what level you define the hierarchy, yes. And hierarchy is also, I mean, it goes too far for this session, but I would say be very, very skeptical about what, I mean, just look at it a little bit, because it's like the Brazilian economy, yes? 5 years ago it was a BRIC country growing and whatever, now it's in deep problems, yeah? We have other experiments with other companies, yes, and sometimes it might work, but I think that every company should have much more an area where it is more structured, more focused, yes, versus where it's able to do things. Yeah? So it's finding that balance. Yeah? And it might be that that's a good example. I don't know if that example so well. It might be, but yeah, it's been bridging these two things. Yeah. Now, okay, this is to start off with. It's an important one. It goes. I mean, it has tremendous a lot of implications. But just leave it. We will come back to it. Now let me move a little bit to something else. Let's put you a little bit to work. Yes. Let's do a case study. I brought a case study, 1 page. That's not too much. Huh? Yeah. And of course, I needed a company you all know. Yes. And that's always a challenge. Yes, because so I will make you consultants now, and consultants to someone who has a problem. And the guy who has a problem is Robin Hood. You know Robin Hood? Yeah? Yes? It's a company, yeah? Yeah. And it's only 1 page. Yes? So I have two simple questions, and you can read it already. Probably sit together. Let's say that we still take 15 minutes or so. There are only two questions. You read it individually, yes? And then there are two questions. One is, what are the issues? What are the problems? It's a little bit, you should not relate it to the framework, but of course it's like, what are the issues? The strategic issues of this company. Secondly, what are options you suggest? You're a consultant to solve the mess. Yes, you can do that in groups. You can do it a little bit organically. Yes, speak to your neighbor. So it's only one page. Just take one neighbor. That's it. Yeah. You know Robin Hood? That's a guy in Nottingham Forest. Yes. Only one page. This is the most used case study in strategy, by the way. Yes, ever.
Google Translate hem. Dat is
So after reading, you can group together a little bit with three people or so to help you. At least 3 issues. Yes, there might be more, and at least 6 options, potential options. You don't have to choose yet. Yes, just there's a problem. You need to help him. What are options? Take another 10 minutes, then you have a break, and after the break we discuss it. Yeah, or 5 minutes more. You can speak. You can make noise now.
Yeah, but I don't think everyone is finished reading.
We're
So.
still trying to read, yeah.
Okay.